Welcome, welcome, welcome to What's Your Story? My name is Marjorie Phoenix. I am the owner of M Phoenix Incorporated and the founder of Giving Voices Project and the author of Who the Hell Do You Think You Are? I want to welcome you today to our second series. We will be doing these series twice a month where we will be highlighting stories of people that are doing good work in the world. They are making a difference. And I'm doing this because I think that for those of you that have followed me, you know that I'm a storyteller for change. And I believe that stories impact us in many different ways. And so it is up to us at this time to control the narrative of our stories. We should be the ones telling our stories, creating space for others to do the same. Now, before I introduce my two guests here today, I just want to acknowledge the history that has been made as Kamala Harris became the first Black woman and woman of Asian descent to accept the VP nomination for any national party in these United States. But not only that, she's also the first HBCU graduate to be in this position and AKA sorority sister. So listen, we can get into a whole conversation about the symbolism and the representation of all of that right now, but we'll save that for another time. You would think that with all this history making going on, this would be something that we want to celebrate, right? We're still having a lot of firsts going on in this country. No, we have white, Black men alike pushing back on things that she's done in the past. We even have a few sisters that also are having some issues with Kamala. And so in realizing that, we know that it's going to take more than just the history-making facts of this to really get her and Joe Biden nominated. So I wanted to highlight the brilliance of Black women. I truly believe that we are underestimated. We are complex and we got a lot of magic to bring. And I want to highlight that today. But this is why I invited these two women on, because they have both created spaces, platforms, and businesses to support and uplift Black women and Black people. Our stories are important. And if we don't tell them, who will? If we don't remind people of who we are and what we're capable of, who will? So we need to be the ones navigating that space and owning the narrative of our stories. And so with that, I'm going to start by introducing my first guest. Bring her up on the screen. Wrong one. Love it. This is Miss Sylvia Browder. She is the CEO of Specialty Home Services, a home improvement company, and also a small business consultant at Browder Consulting Group, a startup consultancy firm. And she helps women with startup assistance, marketing, website, and design work. She's also the co-author of several published books, and she has a blog, Sylvia Browder's blog for women entrepreneurs. It's a lifestyle blog. She is also the publisher of shopspendblack.com, which is a business directory and blog platform. And she's the creator of Black Women United for Kamala Harris. I want to welcome you on, Sylvia. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Woohoo! Thank you, Marjorie, for having me on your awesome platform. I do appreciate that. So I want to thank
Definitely.
you for
Thank you. Thank
creating
you.
this platform for women to tell their story.
Yes, yes, we've got to do it. So I was going to go and introduce my next guest, but I'm going to hold off for her right now, and we're going to get into you. And
Okay.
just, I want you to, tell us, what is your stories, Sylvia? Who are you?
Sure, sure. Well, first and foremost, I'm a child of God.
Mm,
Um, being Having God as a head of our household is very important for my husband and I. We just celebrated 30 years of marriage. So I'm just elated
congratulations.
about that. And I hear him in the background saying, woohoo. So, as just to highlight some of the things that you said, I have a home improvement company which I've run for the past 4.5, 5 years. Unfortunately, due to COVID, um, around March, I kind of stopped or slowed down a lot, um, just because I did not want to send my maintenance people into homes and, cause them to possibly get COVID. So then when my husband caught COVID, I halted everything. My life just kind of stopped. And for 30 days, he was on the ventilator.
Oh
So
my
I,
God, Sylvia.
yes, yes. And he spent actually 59 days in the hospital, recuperating between hospital and um, rehab. So he is doing well now. He's home.
God,
He is,
thank
yes.
God.
Thank God. I'm telling you, it was the power of prayer. We had a prayer circle out of this world that prayed for him, prayed for the medical team, and
Mm,
he is here today. And we were able to celebrate 30 years on Monday. So I'm just really, really thankful for that. I've spent many years in support of women. Supporting women is my passion. I'm thinking back to 2007 when I was director and business consultant for a nonprofit organization. And with this organization, I had the privilege to go out into rural communities and build those communities, help women start very small micro businesses. We call them micro businesses, to help them get started. I would help them with marketing, and I would partner with the
mhm,
local chamber of commerce and um, the local banks and community organizations to be able to bring those resources to the women in our rural community. So from
mhm,
there, I got just so empowered to try to do more. I always want to do more. So God told me to help more women, and at the time I did not really know what that meant, but I just started a blog, Sylvia Browder's blog for women entrepreneur, which is a lifestyle blog and very popular to this day. So I started that blog and I was able to reach so many women just through them reading articles, wanting to share their stories, etc. From there, I started National Association of Women on the Rise because I wanted to do more. I wanted a platform. So I started that organization and it grew to, I want to say, about 2,000 women.
mhm,
Stepping back a little bit, I had named it Minority Women on the Rise because I wanted to, reach out to minority women, and then non-minority women would contact me and say, hey, can we get involved? So that's when I changed it to National Association because I didn't want to exclude women that wanted to be a part. So I
mhm,
started that, and it was very popular for several years, and then it got stagnant. But
mhm.
I, I've always been an advocate of women. I still do a little bit of coaching, consulting for free just to give back as a volunteer. And just coming back, because I know we don't have that long, just coming forward, after my husband got sick and with COVID, I've just been home a lot, working on consulting and, trying to figure out how I can help, how I can just reach out and touch people and not leave my home. So
Yes,
that's a,
yes.
yeah. So that's how, I started the two um projects that you've talked about, which is Shop Spin Black and then Black Women's United for Kamala.
Wonderful. I love that. Now, so let's get into that because that was one of the reasons why I really wanted to bring you on too. And then it was such a delightful surprise to hear you that you've also created this other platform for Black businesses.
Yes,
But Black women have been the driving force in the Democratic Party for
yes,
getting the votes out. Okay, and it's been
exactly.
like that for years. And there has been a lot of scrutiny coming at Kamala. And we're not going to get into all of that right now. But I mean, everywhere from her being married to a white man, people holding
Right,
back
right,
against
right.
her, being a former prosecutor. But the space to create that, like, what's your intention with that space for uniting Black women around Kamala Harris's candidacy?
And I appreciate you asking that. First and foremost, I just want women and just everybody to know her ethnicity is Indian and Jamaican. She is the daughter of a Jamaican born father and an Indian born mother. However, she is a woman of color, and we should all celebrate that.
Mhm.
So when I started Black Women United, it was it just gave me, once she was selected, it gave me an opportunity to reach out back out to our sisters and just get together and just form a group to support each other, because I knew it was going to be a lot of negativity, surrounding her as the nominee. And I wanted a platform where
Mhm.
we could feel comfortable and unite and talk to each other. So
That's beautiful.
one of the
And
things,
I've been a part of that and watch the activity in that group, and I love the positive energy that the women
right,
are sharing there. Yeah.
and that is so important to me. I want a platform where we feel comfortable to share and to discuss
Mhm.
the issues. That is
Yeah.
important. And I want us to be able to dispel the negative rumors, and we discussed that also in the group,
Yeah.
the negativity and how we dispel it, you
Yeah.
know. And then
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I am able and other women are able to get out the information so that
Mhm.
we can help people. Even a lot of us working virtually, but there is work that we can do virtually.
Mhm.
So, volunteer. I'm going to be volunteering sometime this week, making calls, sending text messages out.
Mhm.
We can still help people um, register to vote.
Mhm.
So there is still plenty of work that we can do. So I wanted a space where we can share all this information because there's so much going on.
Yes,
And,
that's
and I'm
helpful.
and I'm telling you, I didn't know what I was expecting, but in the last 6 days, there is over 600 women in that group. So it's like 100 women per day are joining, and they feel comfortable and they're talking. And
Yes.
that is the amazing thing. And that's what I want. I want them to be comfortable and I want us to talk. And that impassions me.
Yes. Yeah, and and that's what I love about that space. Something that I realized too that her nomination has done, at least for me as a Black woman, is it makes me feel um more like I'm seen, right? So
Right.
and I think about what her candidacy has done for all of us. And I love having a space that we can go into and we can be
Yes.
in full color. We can be in
Exactly.
full color
Exactly.
and be us, and
Exactly.
and communicate in a way where we don't have to water ourselves down. We don't have to dim our lights. We can communicate in that way. And so, for me, no matter what happens with the election, I think
Mm,
has a lot for us and how we feel as we're walking in this space right now as
mm,
Black women in this country.
right.
So thank you for creating that space for us to come get together and do that.
Thank you. And I wanted to share.
So
Can I share this?
yeah,
I didn't mention we have 5 adult children and 5 grandchildren, and my 2 of my little granddaughters was so excited when she won the nominee, and one of them said, "Grandma, she looks just like us," and that just I got chills. I got chills because how often do we see, you
yeah,
know,
yes,
someone, in that capacity looking like us? And that is really important. So that is another reason why this group is important to
yeah,
me, is
yeah.
because we have to think about our future, which is our children and our grandchildren.
Yes, yes, most definitely. And that brought something else to mind too with everything that she's up against. When I think about it within our own community, the Black community, if we want to hold candidates and politicians accountable, right? But we
Absolutely.
also want to remember what is the big picture here. And
Right.
if she has to be up against someone calling her nasty and angry and all these other things that are going to be coming from the other side of the fence, you can't have it over here too. I feel like we have a responsibility now to hold each other up
We do. We do.
and
We do. I agree. We at this time of all times, with everything that's going on, we need to be able to uplift each other. And that is what
yes,
this group is about, is
yeah,
uplifting each other, positivity, um, just, patting each other on the back and just allowing us to have a voice. Everybody can speak. If you want to speak at one time, go ahead.
yeah.
That is what this group is about.
That's wonderful.
That's what
So
this
listen,
group is about.
one more question I have for you before I introduce my next guest is to please tell us about Shop Spend Black and how people can find that and what does it really do? What kind of information can we find there?
Absolutely. So again, I was thinking about, how I can help Black people. So I've noticed that a lot of people are always looking for different businesses, and then you see in groups, who do you know that do this and do that, and it get lost. Like in a group, if somebody asks for a certain industry, they get lost in the shuffle of post. So I said, you know what? I need to create a Black directory that's indexable, that people can go and search for different businesses. A lot
Mhm.
of times, Black businesses are not known, they do not market well. So, this is a way that they can be seen. So, Shop Spin Black is an online business directory for Black owned businesses, and we support all industries. We just want you to be seen so that consumers can find you. And that is the whole premise of it.
Okay.
Within that platform, I also have a blog because I love blogs and I love giving out information. I interview people, so you have an opportunity to be spotlighted. And I love authors. So there's an area where if you're an author and you want to be interviewed, I do interviews. And then I do top businesses.
Okay.
So I just recently did an article on 15 Black attorneys that you should know throughout the United States. I just did another article on what was it? I can't remember. It was
I
can't
think
remember, but
Sylvia is frozen on us. She
oh,
went, oh, there you are.
oh,
There,
okay. I don't know how much you heard. So I also do articles on finding like certain industries like top attorneys you should know.
okay.
So, I spotlight different industries.
Okay.
So it's really a directory so that Black businesses can be found on the World Wide Web.
Beautiful. And that's shopspendback.com. And so if you
Yes.
want to be a part of that directory, how can people reach out to you, Sylvia? Is there an email or a website?
Absolutely. It's www.shopspendblack.com.
Okay, so we're going to
Um,
have to do that again because it cut out and I wasn't sure if it recorded, but we're going to also put it in the chat box in the comments. But go ahead and repeat it real
okay.
quick.
www.shopspendblack.com. Go
Okay.
to the listing and you can list free.
Oh gosh, I don't know if it's me or if it's you, but we keep getting blocked out. And I swear, this is technology. This is what we got to
I
be prepared
know.
for.
You
So,
want me to repeat it?
yeah, one more time.
Okay. So www.shopspendblack.com. You can go to the listing. On the right hand side, there's a tab to enter your business information, and you can list free.
Perfect.
If you need to reach out, that's info@shopspendblack.com.
Beautiful. And then if you want to join the community for Black Women United for Kamala Harris, just search that on Facebook. And then you can find the group there. So
Absolutely.
wonderful. Thank you
Thank
so much, Sylvia. Listen, stick around because I do have one last closing question if you do have time. If not, I understand. I appreciate your time and I want to bring
Okay.
on my next guest, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. So me let me change my banner real quick and introduce my next guest. All right, there she is, Miss Kiana Malone. Now, Kiana holds many different titles, ranging from founder and CEO to philanthropist. She is committed to serving the underprivileged and disenfranchised people throughout the United States by ways of grassroots foundation and process implementation. She founded One Step Up in Jacksonville, Florida in 2015, and it provides mentoring and rehabilitation services for ex offenders and families of children affected by, and I'm going to assume this is the Department of Justice, juvenile justice system.
Mm-hmm.
She is also the regional field manager for Color of Change, one of the largest social justice networks in the country, which I'm a proud member of. She is the author of two books, I Forgive You and Pivot. And just recently, she founded her second nonprofit organization, Dear Black Girl. So thank you, Miss Kiana, for coming on. And listen, I'm just going to start with that question. What's your story?
Okay, so thank you for having me on, Miss Marjorie. It's an honor that you just even asked me. So my story is a long one, a deep story. However, I'll give you um just a bit of it. I am formerly incarcerated, so we'll start there. A lot of my work, you read in my bio, that I'm a great philanthropist, and one of my biggest quotes from Kiana Speaks, which is another initiative that I have, is nothing about me without me. So about I want to say 5 or 6 years ago, um, my life drastically changed for the better. Did a total mindset change and just decided that I wanted to do things differently, and I wanted to pull people along who were a lot like me. I wanted to be the resource or the resources that I didn't get to get to where I am. So I started One Step Up, and it's a organization, 501c3 organization, where we assist with the stabilization and rehabilitation of returning citizens. Always been a passion of mine. I started with Color of Change back in 2018, working around amendment for getting the opportunity for returning citizens to be able to vote. Um, I had always, been pretty active in my community, just trying to, help those people that are a lot like me. Fast forward, you did state that I am a published author of 2 books, and just recently from that work, I created Dear Black Girl. Dear Black Girl was kind of created to be the stepping stone that makes all milestones achievable, right? So you heard me say that I'm formerly incarcerated, and you've also heard me say that I've done a lot of things. So what Dear Black Girl is it's just that what it is. Dear Black Girl, no matter what state you in, no matter what place you are. To me, it was a message saying I have been wherever anybody could possibly be right now. I have been at the bottom, I have been in the middle, I have been at the top. And in each place, I was still valuable. And in each place, I was able to teach somebody something. Each place, I was able to learn something from somebody, right? So, Dear Black Girl was created to just find other people that were just like me. You either need to be supported, you need to be stabilized, or you need to be in a place where your success is acknowledged. So Dear Black Girl is that platform. Our website is officialdearblackgirl.com. And what we actually do 2 times a month is I give out what we call the Dear Black Girl Award. And I wish I would have been more prepared so that I could show you guys. But it's like a little wooden trophy / statue that we give out to different types of women.
Uh-oh. Kiana. Oh, there she is.
Oh, I cut out. I'm sorry.
You had cut out. I don't
Yeah.
even think you realize you cut out.
Okay. So what I was saying was I give out these trophies on behalf of Dear Black Girl every month. We give out like 2 or 3 a month. I started out with just one, but because for we have people actually go to the website and just nominate different folk, right? You don't have to be a particular type of black girl to get acknowledged. You could be a black girl that just has found her way. That's a kudos that you were able to wake up and say, you know what, I want to change something. So we want to acknowledge you. You could be a black girl that has $1 million corporation. Kudos to you. You're out here doing it. We want to acknowledge you. Or you could just simply be a black girl that enjoys being home with her kids. The limelight isn't for you. You're just mediocre, mundane, and you just regular. Dear Black Girl, we acknowledge you. So the platform is just really to bring all different types of women together that are black and just congratulate and love on each other and just be that platform to where you can get whatever you need, whether you need some encouragement, whether you need some assistance, whether you need some help. Dear Black Girl is that platform, and we encourage all women.
That's fabulous. But how do you find these women to give awards to?
Usually they're nominated. We have a Facebook page. It's Dear Black Girl, and so you can go on that page. You can inbox us, or you can email us at dearblackgirl@gmail.com. And what we do is we just ask that you give us the name, just what makes that person unique to you, and we go from there and just honor these different women. And I get so many women that are nominated, and I try to acknowledge every last one of them. So if I try to do 2 to 3 a month, but if I get 6 nominations in that month, then we'll just roll over to the next month. Because if somebody took the time out to acknowledge you and think you're great, then we definitely want to acknowledge you. And we don't get that a lot.
That's right.
Sometimes it's like you have to be popular to do this certain thing.
Yes.
But Dear Black Girl acknowledges everyone just for your idea, just for your being. Because one of the things that I know personally is the place you're in today does not guarantee the same place that you'll be tomorrow. I have been at the lowest of the low, the bottom of the bottom. And if only I had someone that said, Kiana, you can do it. That means a lot. And so we even want to acknowledge that person. Like, hey, God gave you another chance. You woke up this morning. You are beautiful. You're wonderful. You know,
Yeah.
you can do anything, and sometimes that's all it takes is for a person to believe. One of my biggest things is I believe that we should afford grace to anybody that's just
That's right. That's
truly
right. That is so.
everybody deserves grace to make a change in a space that they have not always been good in, or um a problem has been brought to. So once something is brought to your attention, I have to give you grace to correct it. And so as Black women, we don't always get that, and we don't always give it to each other. So Dear Black Girl is
That is
just that, um, is that platform. I love women. For some reason, women flock to me, and I know it's called Dear Black Girl, but it's really speaking to all women, no matter what age you are, because most of us have experienced something from that girl space that we have taken into adulthood, whether it is something
most
good,
definitely.
bad. It always starts um with the Black girl. So it's not just for little
Most
girls, for grown
definitely.
women, but
Yes.
speak to that Black girl, whether you need to heal her, whether she needs to be congratulated, or whether we're thankful for her that she has become the woman that she is. So that's pretty much what Dear Black Girl.
Yeah, that you know what, that is beautiful because I was gonna ask you, like how important is having a space like this right now? Because people will say, oh well, you just just black, the same narrative you get with Black Lives Matter. Like, why do you have
Mhm.
to say just for black girl, black blah 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 blah? Explain, Kiana, why that's important for
Um,
Black women, Black girls.
this space is important for Black girls because we don't have those spaces. You look at music videos, you look at commercials, you look at movies. Caucasian women are always going to be at the forefront. I mean, right now they're catering to us a little bit more because of everything that's going on and because we've had to fight so hard. But other women, even women of other descent, Chinese, Puerto Rican, Mexican, they have no issues being on any type of platform. And so very rarely do you have something that is specifically for Black women, by Black women, and just um to acknowledge us. And I think it's very, very important to show that we are all different Black women. We come from all different races, all different situations, and we could get along. That's the biggest thing. To have one space where we love on each other, acknowledge it's not about being popular, it's not about being poor, it's not about a certain class, it's just about being
Yes,
a Black woman. And I
yes,
think we aren't acknowledged as much as we should just for being who we are, whether
yeah,
we are um on one end of the totem pole or the other.
yes,
We have
yes, yes,
people
yes.
that are more privileged than others, and so a lot of times they get a lot of the light. But Dear
Mhm.
Black Girl acknowledges everybody, and I think the platform is necessary. That's why I created it for even the underdog. I am a big pusher of the underdog, and so I think the underdog's struggle is one of the most beautifulest things
Yes,
um that a person can experience. To see
yes,
a person go from one place to another just with grit, determination, and hard work, like that can teach
yes.
anybody a lot of things. And I think that we don't acknowledge that, or we don't feel worthy because of the places that we are. But it's our tenacity in our
Because where we come from and what
right,
we've
right.
experienced,
Mhm.
hold on to that and wear that as this, thing that's holding us back or holding us down. And this is why I always say how important your story is. I have something I call the Phoenix rising moment. You go
Right,
through your story. It is that point in that story where you rise from ashes and you realize what happened to you actually happened for you.
right,
That transformation, that's what you're talking about. You know what I mean? And then you take that and then you come and you lift those that are behind you, you lift them up or you pull them along or you create a space for them to come into as well. And so you're right, that is one of the most beautiful things. And the other thing too that you were saying about Black women and how we're in all shapes and shades and sizes and and some of us we're a little bit more introverted, some of us are extroverted, some of us come across like we angry, some of us can talk just as eloquent as Michelle Obama. We are
right,
all coming with spice and everything nice.
right,
Okay, and
right.
you got able to, and that's what makes us, in my opinion, so magical and
And so
so
unique.
powerful.
Right, right. Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, yeah. So now, how much has your work with Color of Change influenced, the work that you're doing now, and I'm sure the work that you're going to continue to do?
Well, my work with Color Change has really given me a bigger platform to meet new people, meet different genres of people, meet people in different stages of life, um, all over the world. Color Change has been a very, very pivotal platform in the work that I do now and the work that I've done before. It helps me hear different type of issues that we can work on for our Black people. It gives me the opportunity to get insight on what's going on in different areas. It also gives me the strength to keep fighting in my area, knowing that my area is not the only area that's suffering or dealing with a certain thing. Um,
Yes.
and it also gives me the opportunity to bring Black women, mothers, entrepreneurs, strugglers, just bring all people together in one space to create change that will make things better for us.
Yeah. 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 Most definitely. That's the good work and that's the hard work sometimes that
It's
needs
very
to get,
hard work.
and so tell people, who don't know about Color of Change, just tell them a little bit about the organization is about. I know Barack Obama gave them a shout out a few months back when he made a national address. But just tell them a little bit about that work that they do.
Okay, so Color Change was founded back in like 2005 after the Hurricane um, Katrina epidemic. Well, that was a pandemic too. Um, we have about 10 million members now. You know, back when you started, we had about 2.5, but we have about 10 million members now. And we are the organization that is going to hold accountability and bring light and create change for all issues, any issues that are harming or concerning Black people. So we do a lot of criminal justice work. We do a lot of political action work. Like right now, we're working on the presidential election. We just do a lot of accountability. If you have local officials, state officials in your area that are not doing what they are supposed to be doing, Color Change is the organization to come in and say, hey, what's going on? Color Change will help get you in a seat, but Color Change will also get you out of a seat if you're not holding up your end of the bargain or doing what it is that you're supposed to be doing just for Black people. So we are an organization that was created by people for Black people and ran strictly by Black people.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you guys want to get involved in the chapter. And so, we're always looking for people to, mobilize, organize, come up with different ideas, the way you can reach your
Mhm.
community, lift people up in your community to help your community, where I think a lot of this needs to start, so that we can start raising up leaders at every level in government, to tackle these big issues that we're now facing. So that's definitely an organization that you want to connect with. And so just look, so my last question to you, Kiana, is, looking at where we are right now in this country, what would you say that we need to be doing? What do we need to do next?
We need to build better relationships with one another to be able to come together and create the change that we want to see. A lot of people have, especially in our community, has just gotten lackluster. They feel like we don't, my vote doesn't matter, doesn't make a
Mhm.
difference if I vote or not. That is totally not true.
Right.
We pull together in numbers and we come together and get on one accord and push forward. We can create a change. We have to be the change that we want to see, and
See,
that comes from talking to your neighbors, talking to your family members, even the ones that don't want to hear it. You got to keep talking
that's
and
right.
to hear it. One thing that I like to tell people, um, we're not voting for today. We're not voting for ourselves. Um,
Right.
what for us has already been set in place years and years ago.
Mhm.
We are voting now for our children. We
Yeah.
have children, we have grandkids coming along. And so now more than ever, we have to set the tone. We have to put policies and
Mm,
procedures in place that are going to protect them. And I
mm.
think when people start thinking of it from a mindset like that, this isn't about me. Like I have a 19-year-old son. This is strictly for him. My fight is for my son
Ooh,
and
yes,
for
Lord.
children that are gonna come along, and for his grandkids. You know what I mean? So we can't be so selfish to say, well, my vote doesn't matter because it doesn't affect me. It may not affect you, but it is going to 100%
Yes.
affect your children and those
Yes.
coming along behind
Yes.
you. If you don't have kids, it's going to affect your nieces, your nephews, your sisters, and your brothers. We love them, so that is more of a reason why we should band together. That is more of a reason why we should fight for what is right, and that is a reason why we should get up and go vote. It's not about what's going to happen in the next 4 years. It is about what's going to happen in the next 40 years.
Ooh,
Um,
yes. You have said something.
right now. And I think that's what I try to get people to understand. And in saying that, I have moved a lot of people because they're like, we didn't think about it like that.
That's
I mean,
right.
we are survivors. We have learned how to make a dollar out of 15 cents, how to make rob Peter. Like we've learned that. But we don't want that for our children.
No.
So let's try to set, things set things in place where we
Yeah.
don't have to worry about that for our kids. Because right
Yes.
now,
Yes.
when we keep letting things go on and go on, in a minute we ain't gonna have no education, we ain't gonna have no schools, we ain't gonna have nothing. If we
Yeah.
continue to just lackluster and feel like it's not affecting me, because you're right, it may not be affecting you, but who it is affecting it's going to affect our future generations, which consist of our children, our kids, our sisters, brothers, nieces, and nephews. So that is what I think we should be doing, building those relationships and
Yeah.
getting educated about what's going on.
Most definitely. You've just echoed, something that I mentioned today. I feel like we really live in this individualism society here
Mhm.
in America. We look too much at how it's just going to benefit me and mine.
Right,
And
right,
yes, that's important, but we got to realize we in this together. And you're right what you're saying about the vote in the future, how it will affect my children, our grandchildren, right? So we really got to be more knowledgeable about all of this, about the whole system. And when it comes to talking about making it work and surviving, look at how far we've come as Black people. We've survived
right,
ships, we've survived slavery, we've survived Jim Crow. Most of us who are here and can talk about our ancestors before us, and Black women in particular, who, you know, just the weight that they've had to carry. And this is why this has been so important to me, because we had to be the bearers of, being overworked, have our families, ripped apart, watch our children and our men be killed, and and we got to try to make things happen. And we still got to keep a roof over our heads. Yet we are the fastest growing educated group in this country.
right,
Okay. And
right.
we're starting businesses at a faster rate than our
The most
Black men and white women. So
right, the most
we got
resilient
something we have to say. We got something we have to do.
right, right. We got some of the most resilient creatures that God created.
Yes,
Again, I
yes,
always say nothing about me without me, and I think that is just so prevalent for the time, and I wish everybody would get on board with that saying, nothing about me without me, even if it's not happening to me. If I'm not directly affected,
right.
it's still um
That's right.
still me. And I had a lady ask me a question one day. She said, "How do you get people to care about things that don't directly affect them?" And it was an amazing question. And I told her, we
Wait,
have
wait,
to
wait,
get the
wait.
mind.
Repeat that question again. Cut out.
Um, she
Repeat
asked,
the question again. What did she
she
ask
asked
you?
me, how could I be so passionate and how could I be concerned about things that does not directly affect me? Um, and just because it's not directly affecting
Yeah.
me, it directly affects me because it's affecting my people. It's not affecting me, but I have a cousin that it's affecting. So nothing about me without me. I may have an aunt that it's affecting. We love each other. We got to fight with each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's just the gist
That's
of it.
right.
We have to
That's right.
understand that it's not a one person thing. It's all of us because it could be any of us. It takes 1 second for your situation to change from one to the next.
I'm telling you, and I know that for sure. So, and I've had someone ask me the same thing about, well, have you ever been, everybody ever discriminated against? I'm sure they have. I may not have known, but that doesn't mean that I can't look and see what's happening to people around me. And so, my life's purpose is not just about me. It's about other people. And
About
so,
everybody.
and that's why I do this. And I want to create a space for other people just like me, just like you, to come on and sort of show this is how we do it. So, so with that, I'm gonna close out and thank you so much, Kiana, for jumping
Thank
on and
you.
being here today. Y'all go find Dear Black Girl and go join Color of Change.
Thank you very much.
All right. So, listen, there's a lot going on right now in this country. And like I said before early on a Facebook Live, we all have a choice to make. We're writing history right now. Just like Kiana just said, what we're voting for right now is going to affect our children and our grandchildren. So understand the historical context of everything that is happening with every choice and decision that you make, and also with the stories that you are telling and how you are telling them. If you have a story that you would like to tell and you want to use your voice, I invite you to come to my website at Marjorie and schedule a time for us to talk about who you are. I want to know what's your story and how I can help you bring your story and your voice to the world, whether it's through a book, a business, a nonprofit, a movement, activism work, whatever it is. This is the time, and the time is calling for us to show up. So until next time, thank you all for joining us. Bye-bye. Go out and change the world.